The world feels pretty hopeless at the moment, and when it comes to the climate and the environment, it doesn't really feel any different. That's why today I wanted to talk about social tipping points and why systemic change and the change that we need for the climate isn't linear, and why that should motivate us and give us some hope for the future. Now, this can apply to almost every issue and everything the world is fighting for today, but I'm going to talk about it in the context of the climate crisis. So firstly, things are pretty bad at the moment. We're not on track to meet the required climate targets to limit global heating. There's some very powerful people in the world that want to sacrifice the future for their profits. And we're seeing a lot of extreme weather events happening around the world. One of the main reasons we're not seeing the action that we need from our leaders is because there isn't enough pressure coming from society forcing them to act on the climate crisis. It'd be great if our leaders responded accordingly when they had all of the relevant information and science to tell us that they need to act. But our leaders are politicians. They respond to the public and the pressure that comes from society and what the public wants. So personally, it makes me want to bang my head against a wall when we see people out there still denying the reality of the climate crisis and denying the science, when we can see how much the world around us is changing. The good thing is, these people don't matter to us. I mean, of course they matter, they're people, but in regards to getting action on the climate crisis, they don't matter. We don't have to convince these people otherwise. They're never going to change their beliefs. And that's okay. And the reason it's okay is because society doesn't change when the majority of people want change. It happens when just enough people want change and want to see action on an issue. And that's where social tipping points come in. Social tipping points are basically points in society that when enough people want change on an issue or have changed their behavior, we reach a point where that idea goes from being seen as fringe or minority to becoming accepted and even adopted and inevitable. One of the best examples is women's voting rights. There was once a time where women didn't have the right to vote. And at that time, it was seen as unthinkable or completely ridiculous that women would be allowed to vote in elections. Thanks to the very hard work and campaigning of the suffragettes, they won the right for women to vote. And the idea of women voting went from unthinkable to inevitable. And it didn't happen at a linear pace. It happened when society reached a tipping point, when just enough people believed that women should have voting rights. Now, in today's world, we wouldn't even question whether women should be allowed to vote or not. Of course they should. But at the time, the suffragettes were shunned. They were seen as ridiculous, and people thought they were a disgrace for what they were demanding and the tactics they used, which looks an awful lot like a lot of our struggles today. There's many other examples like this: the abolition of slavery, ending apartheid in South Africa, marriage equality. But the reason that change happens like this and not in a linear way is because society is a complex system made up of human beings who are pretty complex. We're also social beings, which means that we generally follow the crowd and follow what other people around us are doing. Some of us are innovators who see the need for change early on and are happy to step away from the crowd and do things without waiting for other people. Others are early adopters. They are happy to jump on board with other people's ideas, even if they're in the minority. And then the rest of society generally just follows the crowd and follows what it seems like most other people are doing and what most people believe. When there's enough people making enough noise about an issue or acting a certain way, society will generally change and most people will follow. Some studies suggest that the number of people, is 25% of the population, which might seem like a lot, but hear me out. In regards to the climate, a recent poll found that 8 in 10 Australians want stronger climate action. Another one said it was 83% of Australians, another one 74%. Now you might ask, if that's the case, then why are we still seeing massive fossil fuel projects like Woodside's Northwest Shelf extension being approved? And I think there's a good answer for this, and The Guardian has done some really good work on this recently. They recently did a huge survey of 130,000 people all over the world. It found that 89% of people globally wanted stronger climate action. But it also discovered that most people felt that their concern for the climate crisis was in the minority, or that most people didn't feel the same. What they found is that it's leading most people to stay quiet rather than speaking up about their concerns. What the experts say is that if we can unlock this silent majority, we might be able to reach the massive and urgent social tipping points that we need for climate action simply by making everyone aware that their concerns for the climate is shared by most other people. So I know how depressing it can feel sometimes when you see people like Trump denying climate change, you read social media comments of the climate deniers, but these people are in the minority. The rest of us, the majority, want to see stronger climate action, and that's where our hope lies, with every one of us who cares, and then what we choose to do next and how we choose to act. So what do we do from here? Well, we have to turn that care into action, however possible or whatever that looks like for us. For those of us already involved in the fight, we have to keep going, knowing that we're aiming to reach these big social tipping points where change becomes unstoppable. The thing that gives me more hope is that we don't know when we're going to reach these social tipping points. And that's why change isn't linear. The change that we need can sometimes feel completely impossible or way too far away. And it's probably because we're thinking of it in a linear term and not taking into account these tipping points. And that's why what is once considered unthinkable can suddenly flip and become inevitable once society tips. Now, yes, we need to face reality. The world's most powerful leader is a climate denier. He's tearing down good climate policy, but most of the world doesn't think this way. That's why, for you and I, and for everyone else who cares, the most important thing that we can do is to get involved in the fight and take action, while also knowing when to rest and slow down and look after ourselves as well. We are the ones who will shape the outcome in the future. We are the only ones who can help bring us closer to these social tipping points. And the more of us who speak up, join the movement, join a local campaign, get involved, however that looks, the more that the people around us will be inspired to do the same, and the closer we'll be to reaching these tipping points. So get involved, find a local campaign to join, bring your skills and knowledge to the movement and do whatever you can. When I first got involved in the movement, I had no idea what I was doing or no idea what I should be doing, so I just tried everything. In the last couple of years, I've been involved in successful campaigns. I've met so many incredible people. I stood in an election and I've been the happiest and most fulfilled that I've ever been in my life. Simply because I know the work I'm doing isn't for myself, but it's for everyone and for the future. You can do the same. So get involved and you might be able to help shape the course of history. Thanks for watching.